And here's why they don't talk. Because at the point where you decide to say, let me talk to you about this problem, X, Y, Z, I give you this whole spiel. Whoever you having a problem with, they just gonna automatically shut all that shit down. Like, all right, so this is how you feel. Let me tell you how our perspective of you is as an associate. Then they're gonna give you the whole rundown about everything that you've been doing wrong. They will give you the rundown about how you suck as a person. It's like you have a shitty attitude and don't nobody want to be around you, and then you get the truth, but they don't want the truth, so therefore they create their own truth, so they don't have to hear the truth from anybody.
What are you doing today that makes you better than the person you were yesterday? That is part of the Ascension brand. That is the motto, the heart of what we stand for. When I pass away, I want people to know. I want people to remember me, not for the time that I've spent on this planet, but for the things that I have done to contribute to society. My mama raised a loser, but I broke the chains. I wasn't made to be a
Alrighty,
player.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dirty Trunk Podcast.
Where the elephant is always welcome.
We ain't said that in a while.
Yeah, can we get like a elephant sound after you say that? Always welcome in them.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right.
You don't sound too sure about it.
Actually, that don't sound like a bad idea. We just had to add it in post-production because I don't like using the soundboard no more.
All right, cool.
Why is it still plugged up?
Hey. But it is me, your boy Marcus Morton, and here with me is always the Aaron Mike and the lovely Coco.
What's up, y'all? Let's take it from there.
So let's start. Let's start by talking about our day. We got this weird job, and I had a situation earlier where like I like everybody kept coming to me telling me that I was doing stuff wrong, and I had to apologize to Courtney because she kind of got the messenger treatment earlier, so I had to apologize just so she got the messenger treatment. You know, the shoot the messenger.
I mean, I didn't even feel like that because I honestly didn't care.
I felt like that.
So I was like, I'd rather me tell you than somebody else tell you. Hear it from me and not somebody else. I feel like you would have been more,
Oh yeah, because she would have got the hangs. She irritated, man. She's so fucking irritating.
Tragic.
We just talking about folks at work. We ain't gonna do what we did last week though. Like we just gonna kind of briefly talk about our day and kind of just leave it at that. We gonna leave work at work for a change because last week, like it was real ironic though that last week we were talking about how people should leave work at work, and then like most of our episode was talking about work. I just thought that was really interesting.
But we had to give examples of what not to do.
And we actually we were a live example. We were a live example. That's exactly what we did. We
calling the kettle black.
Right. And all us burn.
I mean, hey. No, sorry, I didn't want to just say it, but you had like a hair on your nose, and I was like, I didn't want to interrupt, so I'm just like, how do I?
Alyssa, I use your brush. Your hair is everywhere.
Thank you.
Please don't kill Ern.
I didn't want to have that conversation. Like she pick up her brush, like, the fuck is this?
It's the damn way.
Tragic.
She's like, this isn't mine. This is a whole different race. Oh man, how was your day, Marcus?
It was pretty good, man. I actually got to talk a lot on the dock. I don't know why that sounds kind of weird, but like,
let's not talk to our audience like they know what the hell the dock is.
Well, I got to talk a lot in my my department, and we had some pretty interesting conversations. Like one dude wanted to be he was trying to find the balance of working at a 9 to 5 and then actually doing his passion. He said he has like 2 things he wants to do, or 2 things that he's talented in. One was music and one was haircutting. He's a barber. And he used to be night shift, but he switched to day shift. And he was like, when he worked night shift, he was basically, you know, never at home. After work, he'd go to the barbershop, chill out, you know, work on his craft or whatever. And then he'd stay there about maybe like a full day or until it's time for him to come back to work.
Wow. So he was like not even sleeping.
Yeah, basically. And then he was like on his off days, if he did have an off day or whatever, he would be in the studio, because the studio was like everything he wanted to do was like right in the vicinity. It was like barbershop right around the corner, studio.
So yeah, I do have a question. Like, if you're a barber, why have a second job? Or was he like one of the people who just had to come to Amazon because of the whole COVID situation?
That I don't know, because he's been working there for a good little minute, I believe. Because like I said, he was night shift, but he switched to day. So I don't know.
That's interesting that like he would even have a second job, because like I would be trying to go hard and the being a barber, fill up my pipeline and just like wild out at the barbershop, and then like, well, I ain't got no customers or whatever because the studio in the barbershop.
No, the studio was like, it was in the vicinity. It wasn't in the barbershop.
But it's like
it's
near
close.
there. Like yeah, like see, he wasting time at like he should spend, instead of spending 40 hours, he should be spending 40 hours trying to get some loyal customers. Because everybody need a haircut. You around all black people all the time. Like, yo,
Right.
you like put your name out there, pass your cards out, and fill up your pipeline instead of spending that 40 hours at bro, you can spend like 10 hours a week
Right.
just cutting hair.
Yeah, and that's what I told him. I was like, man, you just mentioned like 2 careers that is guaranteed money. Like, everybody needs a cut.
Right.
Barbershop, that's guaranteed money, easy money at that. That's
but
something you
can't
love.
be too sure about his music.
That's
No.
that's true too.
Yeah, but if he knows how to work the system correctly, you know, he can.
If he knows how to.
The music ain't
True.
a guaranteed hustle.
Not guaranteed?
That's
All
not
right.
a guaranteed hustle at all.
I mean,
By
is he
no
rapping
stretch.
or producing?
By no stretch of the imagination is music guaranteed.
I think a little bit of both. So I don't
I
know.
Oh, see,
not that.
he in a hole right there too.
Come on.
You ain't got no team. You got nobody backing you up.
True. Okay.
Can't play Superman.
Try to
Superman
do
can
it
be his own army. Like we human. We can't do that.
all. Sadly.
No man is an island, and you need a team.
Okay.
The best thing I ever learned, because boy, am I a lot less stressed out now. Ooh wee. Courtney, your day?
It was actually pretty good. Like, I have no complaints. Finally.
Nothing
no
to
other words.
report.
Like, no,
Nothing to report. Business as usual.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was like the same for me. Like, I just got tired of being jerked around like a little puppy on a chain, though.
Yeah.
But other than that, it is what it is. Like, it's just really weird how corporate America make you feel like you real special and real important to the process at 1 minute, and then all of a sudden just switch it up and just like, yeah, you just like everybody else. So we're gonna treat you like everybody else. I just think that's like real amazing. And you don't need to ask for like special treatment or anything like that.
Right.
So it's like, you know, the skill, they have you doing it and they just put you in it. And then all of a sudden when it don't need to be done, they ain't got nothing to do for you. Get to the back of the line.
Just tossing you around like a whore.
So I also find it funny how a certain person that we work with has been like real rebellious all week long. Then her manager came back, and then all of a sudden the whole attitude changed.
Cause everybody get these hands.
What?
Bro, for real.
I won in the department. What
I
happened?
keep
This close.
I keep telling Courtney, like, yo, you got to not take people at their word. Sometimes people just want to be yelling,
But
just to be
I
yelling.
can't take that constantly, day after day. I can't do that.
Oh.
I can't do that.
I mean, you just got to you got to know how to tone it out. You smile and nod, just yep.
I'm working on that. Y'all lucky, because people was telling me today, he said, like, I'm really surprised at you. You used to be real terrible. You really worked on yourself.
It shows.
Yeah.
It's showing. It's showing.
Because, oh, wait, I did 2-piece Aaron. I'm sorry, Aaron.
Why are you hitting Aaron?
His arm was just big, and it was just right there at the moment, and I was just like...
Like I said, I'd rather her hit me than who she wanted to hit. So I mean, I guess it worked out for the best. Maybe, you know, we should probably get her like a stress ball so she don't be doing that in front of safety.
Bag or something.
I mean, she can't take a punching bag to work.
True.
She be walking around with a punching bag on the cart like.
Wait, what is that for?
Like, you'll see.
It's like, keep talking, I'll show you.
Hey, you gotta get that workout somewhere.
That was a 2-piece. It was quick too, because I was walking at the same time.
Yeah, I just thought it was really weird because you said it earlier, like she been real quiet today, and I'm just like,
yeah, she
I ain't heard nothing from her.
Surprisingly,
I ain't heard nothing from her.
And then here I go telling the manager everything that happened, and then she just acting like a angel today.
Totally different person.
People just don't understand that they are their own problem sometimes.
Right.
And it's weird because you will be talking to somebody and they will be telling you, they will be complaining like high and low about every person that they ever came in contact with at their job, saying this person trying to hold me back, they trying to stop me from being great. Bruh. And I'm just like, yeah, but you know, you can't be doing certain things. You can't be doing this and that and that and but they pissing me off though. I'm like, what? Oh, all right, yep.
But yeah, because this certain person says a manager is after her. I don't know why she always after me and da da da. Everybody looking like, you don't know why. It's because of your attitude.
Yeah.
You always say you don't give a fuck.
You're a problem.
It's you.
You're a problem.
But then the same person gets rewarded and doing other stuff. That's the thing I don't get. Why are y'all rewarding bad behavior like that? If they don't give a fuck about your company and be messing y'all up, why are you rewarding them?
Because she disappeared like every 10 seconds.
Yes.
Like when they make her work, she gone like every 10 minutes at least.
Why is she
But you know what? It's funny though because she's not the only one. She got a friend that do it with her. And no one says a fucking thing.
I don't know what's going on.
Who also gets rewarded by with things, but we don't need to talk about that. But how do we make this into a productive conversation? If that doesn't sound like gossip.
So on another side of what you were talking about, some people will have a set attitude for how they feel about their own work. Like artists, they're real famous for this. They'll take their work, they'll draw like something amazing, but since they know what they're doing, they know every flaw, every aspect in it, and they're like, oh, I hate this. But somebody else sees it as like, this is amazing. Let me give you like, you know.
Oh, but this is the
XYZ.
the complete flip side of that, where they think they deep and they really not. So this is the whole reverse to that.
You could say so.
Well, go ahead to your point though.
Cause I was talking to a guy at the doc, Lamar, and he's like, man, I got this.
Shout out to Mr. Dramatic, y'all.
Hey, he's like, I got this writer's block almost. Like he's like, I'm not finishing my art and all this other stuff, and like, it was a good like 3 dudes like looking at his page like, bro, this is dope. This is dope art. Like this is like grade A stuff, man. Like you should keep doing it. But he's like, man,
I think he might have been talking about the story, not the art.
Nah, he was talking about the art because he had like a couple of sketches that he had done, but he wasn't finishing them. And he was like, maybe, you know, I need to learn how to color a little bit more, use more colors or something. And I'm just like,
you good with that?
Exactly.
He good with that. I thought you was like talking about like the writing part of it.
Nah, I'm pretty sure he has that down pat. But if he doesn't, I mean, that's still,
Because he said that he has an issue with that. Like
Mhm.
that's why we had the conversation about author meets illustrator, and it just didn't go. It didn't go where I thought it was gonna go. But I mean,
hey, something y'all could pick back up. Maybe that's something. But I noticed it's a curse for artists when they get in that funk almost.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them have it. Not even in like in drawing and stuff. Like some musicians, since they know like how a key is supposed to sound,
Mm-hmm.
they could like just ruin their whole day because they just played something and then like that one key that just sounds off to them. It's just the whole thing is ruined. But
Yeah, that's crazy that you said that, because I watched Heidi do that recently.
come on.
Yeah, I watched Heidi do that. She was recording a song, and like I was like, yo, it sounds good. Like, and she was just like, no, that's not the one. That's not the one. Like, she just kept re-recording it and doing it over and doing it over and doing it over. She did like 60 takes of the same thing, and she was like, it's not the one. And I was like, what's happening here? I'm like, yo, you're good. Like, what's wrong with you? Like
Sometimes you just want to just take them and be like, yo, get your shit together. You got this. Like, stop.
Rest in peace, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry, but yeah, like it's like they'll just put themselves through the whole dirt, the whole mound, and just say their stuff is like not good enough.
So how do we relate that to individuals who like the individuals that we're talking about now?
I mean, well, that's actually them blocking their own blessing. Like their low self-esteem blocking their own blessing.
Yeah, okay, so that's the tie-in to what you were just saying. It's a self-esteem issue on that part.
Yeah.
But we're not necessarily talking about people with the self-esteem issue, because self-esteem is one thing, and it's like that's a real easy fix, because, well, I mean, on both ends, it's like it's a person who can't self-assess with what they have going on, because the person with the self-esteem issue, they're probably overlooking exactly what they are, and they are too far into themselves that they can't see everything else outside of them, where it's like, well, you know, it's probably somebody with a lot worse than you got going on, right. So you probably shouldn't be worrying about that. And then it's like the people who have the bad attitudes, the ones that they're selfish, they are the ones who are manipulative, and they use their words really well, to the point where they get their way even when they're doing wrong. And then they are, I want to say, self-absorbed. These are just traits that I'm just throwing out here because these are things that I'm seeing. And we work with a lot of them.
Yeah.
We work with a lot of them, and they just say, and you hear them when they talk. The person who says, well, they don't want me to do this because of X, Y, Z. And I'm like, so why do you feel like they don't want you to do this? Because they just hating on me. They don't want me to be great.
Hating on
or
what?
This person don't like me because that person said such and such and such. I'm like, yo, you know that's your manager. Like, your manager not on that.
That's real interesting, because the whole situation we had with the lady on the dock, Regina.
Right.
There's a guy back there that's always complaining.
I know I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Bald dude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And today he was like, I finally caught on, because I was like, all right, sometimes she will give you a little bit more than what you can handle. Sometimes. Right. But he was complaining today about the same doors, the 3 at the end.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, you should just keep giving me these 3 doors. But I'm just like, it's not really 3. You got another man there helping you out.
Right.
So what are you complaining for? He was like, oh man, just, and every time I come back, I'll help him.
See, no, pause right there, because being a yes man can block your blessings as well.
Exactly, because I was just about to get on you about that.
Don't you even dare say anything. Being a yes man will block your blessings
being
as
a
well.
Yes man. That situation.
He just keeping it peace. He's just keeping it peaceful. But however, I'm a little bit different in that regard, because I would ask you, like, bro, like, because he came to complain to me. It was all right. So the day I did, So for anybody who don't know what it is, I mean, obviously, if you listening to this, and we don't even know what company we talking about, you obviously would know what this is. But is a thing where you will connect with all of the management in the building, and you talk about problems that's in the building. You like kind of elevate the status of the building or whatever, whether it's fixing problems that associates have or whatever. It's kind of like a managerial kind of situation that they get lackey associates to do every now and then to make them feel special about themselves and stuff. But anyway, I did this on Sunday, yeah.
Sunday.
I did it Sunday, and they told me that I had like 15 minutes to prepare for it. I asked my man. He was there at the desk, and I was like, is there any barriers that you have? And he gave me a whole bunch of everything that you probably heard today is what my man told me. And I was like, all right, so that sounds like stuff that you can easily deal with within yourself, dog. But I mean, I ain't really asked you about that. I asked you about this department, because he was talking about your department, because that's where he's supposed to be at. He was mad about everything that goes on back there. He's like having personal complaints about character and stuff. I'm like, character ain't got nothing to do with your job, dog.
Thanks.
And I'm like, and then the famous thing that I always hear people like him say, they don't want us to be great. We can't do nothing because they got certain people doing this, and then there's always a race thing. I'm like, oh my God, man. Like how did we just automatically go back to a race thing? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous to me, man. And they always say the same exact thing. And
Every
I'm
day.
just like, yo,
And
like,
I'm just like, have you at least like talked to her? Like, hey, you know,
no.
this
No,
exactly.
they never do, because at that point, and here's why they don't talk. Because at the point where you decide to say, let me talk to you about this problem, XYZ, I give you this whole spiel. Whoever you having a problem with, they just gonna automatically shut all that shit down. Like, all right, so this is how you feel. Let me tell you how our perspective of you is as an associate. Then they're going to give you the whole rundown about everything that you've been doing wrong. They will give you the rundown about how you suck as a person. It's like you have a shitty attitude and don't nobody want to be around you. And then you get the truth, but they don't want the truth. So therefore they create their own truth, so they don't have to hear the truth from anybody else.
And that's called being fucking crazy.
It is, but in that situation though, you don't even really have to go through all that. Like, all you have to do is go up to him and be like, hey, you know, I need some help, or you know, I can't handle these doors.
No,
I feel
because
like
Go ahead.
I feel like people cause problems in their life for like entertainment. Like you said, they don't got nothing going on in their life, so they need something to excite them.
Yeah.
At this point, that's what I think it is.
That's horrible, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Because people don't have anything going on outside of work.
And all they know is drama.
And all they know is drama.
All right, back to that one girl. I did later realize, kinda today I realized that Sunday was Father's Day and she recently lost her dad.
Yeah.
So I think that could have stemmed from her, you know, her attitude could have stemmed from that.
It's not an excuse, though.
Yeah, it's still not an excuse
because if you screw up to the point where they ready to walk you out, you can't just be like, yeah, my dad passed away.
I mean, but
like you can't blame your dead dad for losing your job.
You're right, but
and I get it.
I mean, yeah,
I understand.
get it.
I perfectly understand. I lost my dad too. I understand
Same.
completely. But at the same time, it's like your boss don't care that, you know, you just literally went out of your way to do to not do what we need you to do, and you're on the clock. So it's like, well, we're not obligated to feed into your bullshit just because your dad passed.
I don't know. They kind of sympathize for people.
They sympathize for you if you ask to be sympathized with. But I kind of feel like, knowing the person that we're talking about, that probably didn't happen.
I think you were right about earlier about how work makes us sleepy and all done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Because I swear I had like all of it like while I was at work.
But see, that's one thing too. Like, we get workplace ambition sometimes, where it's like the job has you in a state where it's like, yo, like when I get out of here, I got this. Like you have all your ducks lined up, and when you clock out, and that pressure moves off of you, it's hard to focus on what you need to do because you're not as ambitious because there's nothing really pushing you.
Right.
So it's up to us to just create that fire within ourselves to keep going.
In your own words, what is an attitude blocking a blessing? And we'll just go around the room like that.
In our own words, what is the attitude that blocks a blessing? Like arrogance, man.
I was just about to say that.
Like arrogance. Like we have so many people, and I'm not fully innocent of this either, because I'm like one of the most omniscient people that you will ever meet in your life, and I'm working on it. And even omniscience could block you from some things, from moving up in life or reaching your next level, because like sometimes I could be like, you know, somebody will come to me and they'll try to tell me that I did something wrong, and I did it to her today.
I ain't do that.
I'm working on it. And that's why I felt like I had to come apologize to you, because I know, I mean, granted, we did figure out that the situation wasn't really my fault. Yeah. But I kind of like immediately went on the defensive, like, nah, that ain't my thing. Like, I ain't do that. Like, just simply saying, like, people don't want to be around that. So when I come out of my mouth and like I'm omniscient, or I'm like acting like I know everything, it just kind of puts people off a little bit. And who knows, like somebody could be wanting to ask me a question like about the Dirty Trunk podcast. It could be like somebody potentially wanting, it could be like a business investment or something that somebody wants to make into our brand. Somebody wants to sponsor us or something. They ask me a question and I'm like, yo, yeah, I just go off at the mouth and just answer them on a simple tip, and I'm like, yo, that was like dead wrong. Like, there's been times where we were on the podcast and somebody was like, blah, 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 but I'm like, nah, that ain't right. That ain't how that happened. And it happens all the time.
Because I just realized something. I was having a conversation with a couple of friends or whatever. And they was like, nah, nobody will say nothing to you. I was like, yeah, because they probably scared of me or something, you know. Mm-hmm. And then now I realize, like, what if somebody wanted to, you know, ask me a question about something that can help me move up in the world. And then I'm like, because everyone thinks I'm mean. Mm-hmm. I'm not really mean, but I give that off. So, like, I'm probably blocking my own blessing right now.
Possibly.
Like, that's crazy. I just realized that.
Possibly.
Because I don't seem approachable.
You definitely could have shielded yourself from a final recently had you been a little bit more approachable.
Oh, but it's gone now because of my
not the
the
point.
Way I am.
Not the point.
Okay.
You have to go on through what you went through.
Yeah, that's a good point though. That's a good point. Glad you came to that realization, because it ain't like none of us could have told you if we realized it.
You had something to say? I mean, not saying anything can block your blessings as well.
Oh.
And you exactly
closed
right.
mouths do not get fed.
That's why I make my own food. Thank you very much. So anyway, we're going to get on.
Who are you talking to? We got a podcast to do. You know, sit your tail down. I am sitting down.
Don't get stood up now. Yeah, I said.
You can try it.
All right, I'll walk right ahead. Get in my car and go. Nah.
Anyway. Aaron, take me home.
I'll call you a cab.
That's a lot of money.
It's a long drive.
We got an extra bit. I'll tell you. You got your dog. I do agree. I do agree that being passive can block blessings. I know in my instance, I could be very passive because I don't like dealing with people. I don't like dealing with people's emotions. I don't really care what all
Yeah,
that.
you don't really do the confrontation.
Yeah, nah, that ain't me.
Me, on the other hand, I'm just like,
Bring
Like,
that
let's go.
on.
But yeah, that could block blessings. I know
once again, another way that him and Alyssa are.
because like when you grow up with like 3 other brothers, and not even that, it's just like grow up the way three. There's 3 of us.
That ain't what you said.
You said 3 other brothers.
Growing up in a household with 3 boys. That still don't sound right. I don't know.
It sounds
2
like
other
more the truth.
Okay. Yeah, but like when you have brothers or whatever, you know, you kind of, especially being the middle child, you kind of learn how to avoid certain situations just by small compromise. Like, so we have one console. We ain't balling, so we have one console. And sometimes, you know, since I have the DS and all this other stuff, I just be like, all right, I mean, you got the PS whatever for right now, and I just, you know, because I'm a handheld gamer anyway. That's just what I like, my solo time in the corner somewhere away from noise and all this other stuff. But I understand, like, in a workplace that being a little passive can hinder you, because, like, what if somebody's looking to you to be like a more in a leadership role, and you're just kind of, you know, you just push people aside. Not really push people, but just you don't direct them. You just like just kind of avoid the situations. And that's something I do have to work on. I think I've only been in one like managerial position. Back when I was working construction, I had like a whole crew to take care of or whatever. And when they first, you know, gave me that role, I would go, you know, take role, and then I'll go out and do what I send them to do whatever they need to do. And then I go do what I need to do. And I thought that was work. But they was like, no, you can't do that. And I was like, how's the stuff gonna get done? You send them to do that. You got to make sure they are doing everything correctly. You got to work behind them. Well, not work behind them, but make sure, you know, they on their stuff. You got to
delegate
them. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, I got to talk to people I don't know, strangers. All right. Okay. I got you. But it worked out. When I'm forced in those situations, I come out pretty well. But yeah, being too passive, you should have, you should want more for yourself and want people to treat you better than just, you know, just anything.
All right, so let's do this, because you know what, I'm a little proud of this, that we all just sat here and pointed out flaws of ourselves.
You're welcome.
And just breeze past it. Like, we know exactly what our problems are, and we know we are actively trying to fix them. So I love that. So let's talk about these things in our own perspective.
I mean, the truth hurts. Let's hear it.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Don't make me cry, y'all.
That sounds like a bad idea. For the most part, I think we pretty much already know what we got going on, and how, and like, fixing it isn't necessarily an issue now, being that, because you have to know the problem in order to confront the problem, in order to fix the problem. So I just think it's a beautiful thing that nobody really had to tell us what we were doing wrong. We could just like simply, just off of personal self-development, we can look at ourselves and just evaluate what we got going on internally, and just be like, all right, I got to learn how to cut that out. I ain't gonna start tomorrow. I ain't gonna start today though. I ain't gonna start today, but I'm gonna cut that out sometime, sooner or later.
Right.
I gotta get this whole rebellious thing out of my system, man. And that's another thing that blocks your blessings. And I can relate to just about 98% of everybody that we work with when it comes to just being a rebel in general. Like, I'm not a man of rules, man. I'm not a man of rules. Like, one dude, he came to me at the job and was like, yeah, man, and the rule book said that we're supposed to be doing this and we're supposed to be doing this. Like, he gave me a whole list of stuff, and I'm just looking. I'm like, bruh. And he was like, and I went to safety and told safety that we're supposed to be doing this because the safety book said that we're supposed to be. And I'm like,
First of all,
and I'm like,
we have a rule book.
It's a book.
Second of all, he read it. That sounds like that.
Now telling
sound
somebody
like
like me something like that, I'm about to cuss my man out because I'm like, yo, we already got too many rules as it is. Like,
Right.
you want more? It was like, but we supposed to be following these. These are network standards. I'm like, bro, I don't give a damn.
Facts.
I'm like, most of these rules don't even need to be rules. I'm like, yo,
Facts.
some of this stuff is common sense. I can't do like a whole bunch of unnecessary rules. Like, I just really don't. I just don't see it necessary. I'm like, yo, rules make people want to rebel. Rules make people like me want to rebel. So when you like come out the woodwork and I'm already doing my job to the standard that you say that you want me to do the job, and then you come out like I'm already accustomed to what's going on already, and then you throw an extra rule at me and I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
fuck out of here, fam. Like, I'm not doing that.
I don't like when I'm comfortable in doing my job. Like, there's nothing wrong with the way I'm doing it when I'm comfortable, but then someone come and tell me,
That I gotta switch up.
yeah, that I gotta do this and do that, and I'm not comfortable, I'm gonna fuck up now.
And then it's like, yo, is
Not
this-
on purpose, but because I'm not comfortable.
Oh no, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna fuck up on purpose. And since we on the conversation about blocking blessings, it's something that I know I need to fix. Alyssa already got on me like numerous of times about it because I'm just like that's how I am. Like I'm just like I'm this gorilla type. I'm just like I'm not doing that. Like if it's not about to fix the great like the push the agenda from the back end, like as like a numbers perspective, like if me doing this is not going to boost me up, then I'm not doing it. Especially if you about to give me an extra rule to follow that's going to hinder me from doing my job on the way that I'm already doing it, and they're still holding me accountable to doing this job at a certain standard. Like, no, I'm not doing that. So yeah, but I know that that's not the attitude that you should have, and that's not the attitude of somebody who does anything successful. Because just like I said on the last episode, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if I avoid the rules when it comes to just something simple as our job, then I'll probably do the same thing when it comes to business. So I can't continue taking shortcuts and doing things because at some point, like this is going to get serious. At some point, this is going to get serious. And like when it's serious, we can't afford to make mistakes. We can't afford to waste time doing mundane things. And, you know, our lives are intertwined with something that is way bigger than us. So I have to fix this now. I have to fix it now.
Okay. Oh, I ain't really. Yeah,
Oh.
sorry.
Well, yeah.
What?
I know that I need to work on my attitude. I've been working on.
Can we talk about how
I'm ignoring that right now because
I am so disappointed.
I was like, oh, you gonna say
about to-
something? No. No, as I was saying,
I'm sorry.
I know I need to work on my attitude. I've been working on it for a long, long time. Like, it's not easy. I'm not even going to get into where it stems from, because it stems from a lot. Let's just say my
Yeah,
childhood.
you realize I
It's-
left that part out
yeah,
too, right?
it stems from a lot.
That's a
And
different episode.
Years of that, it's kind of hard to change overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I know a lot of people come to me, was like, I thought you was always mean. I was like, you know, I thought I wasn't gonna like you, but you're so nice and everything. And I now sit here and wonder, like, how many people think that,
Right.
like, that I'm this straight up bitch. Like, they kind of make me feel bad, you know. I don't want to be known as the bitch.
Right.
I mean, unless you piss me off. But
It's like as long as you put bad in front of it. No, I'm sorry. Okay, it's supposed to be Jay. What? No one seen that meme. Nobody. Alright, I'm sorry. Try to put a little comedic atmosphere. Right?
Oh God. Oh man.
You good?
Oh man.
why I see that damn Inception star when I close my eyes? I was staring at it too long.
That's dope.
Oh, fuck, that was funny.
It's crazy though, cause even though me being a rebel, like I just recently realized why I am the way I am. Like, it took me until I was 29. 29. Yeah, I literally just recently found out why I am the way I am. And it took me to hear something, and it made a repressed memory come back, and I was just like, oh, that makes sense.
I always do that. And then it's crazy because every day I'll have a flashback memory of something.
I don't have that.
I don't know. I have a memory of something, whether it be good or bad, from my childhood. And it's like,
Ain't much good.
but I had someone, I think my sister had told me, you didn't start getting mean until you got a little older because of what you went through, and but I didn't want to hear that. You know, I was like, yeah, whatever. But once I got older, like out of high school on my own type thing,
Yeah.
that's when I know, and I was like,
Cause you
damn.
like, bitch, shut up. That's just me. Like, you don't want to hear that shit.
Like, you need to accept me for who I am.
Yeah.
But that's toxic.
And that's another thing, because people don't understand, like, yo, who you are, you got to understand that you have an impact on people, and you make people feel a certain way when you act a certain way. Like, I had this conversation with somebody recently, a young kid that we work with, and you guys know, but he's weird. He's a weird kid, and he gets upset when people don't like him. And I'm like, you are you, dog. And people don't understand that. People don't understand you. It's like you're strange and you're not normal. So I mean, and though it's not a bad thing to not be normal, you just have to accept the fact if you're not going to develop yourself to be around people, then you have to accept the fact that people not going to tolerate you.
Especially if you give off serial killer vibes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But to kind of piggyback off what you guys said, dealing with my own thing being like passive, I see how that could hinder my growth, because I'm not gonna say I guess I'm like approachable. Like, people have no problems like coming up to me and just like talking.
I used to have that
guys, but not girls, guys. And I could see how like letting any type of energy or vibrations into my own, space could kind of give me like negative vibes, or like hinder minds or knock minds off. Cause like we were talking about a old dude that keeps complaining. Like, if you around that 24/7, that'll put you in the funk, and you just like, you'll think about it. That'll be in like the back of your head, and then you're just like, all right, well, I don't want to do this either. But I mean, that's not my work ethic, but that could, easily persuade someone else.
Yeah, I understand that.
Can not being vocal on things block your blessings as well?
I mean, I guess, but
I feel like that's a situation.
I won't say that you not being vocal is blocking blessings, but
it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Like a easy one would be how that one time I got my first verbal. That was because they kept sending me each and everywhere. But if I would have been like, well, I mean, I won't really check my rate like that either, but that's kind of my fault. But I could have easily been like, hey, I need to stay in this path, or I could have talked to Carlton or anybody and be like, hey, put me in this path so I can at least get up my rate. Right. Now, I did do that, but it was kind of too late. I did tell Regina, I'd be like, hey, I see you got me on the docks, but I kind of need to go back down there to pick, get my rate up a little bit. And she was like, all right, okay, I feel you. And I was like, all right, cool. It's just that age.
I mean, just not at work.
Simple adjustments.
Outside work too.
Not being vocal, to answer your question, just and piggyback off of what he said, it does depend on the situation, because if there's something that you want or need, and that is this the move that you need to make, and there's somebody oppressing you, whether it's because of their personal reasons or because of you feel like you're obligated to do something for this person or whatever the case may be. I don't know what the situation is. I just know that there are people who sits in a rut for people. Like they continue being servants for people who, when you allow people to do certain things to you, whether it's because you're afraid to approach the situation or you just don't want to talk about it or whatever the case may be, like you're a crutch for that person as well. So not only are you blocking your blessings, you're blocking theirs too. It's like, say that like there's somebody around you that's doing something, like say it's a family member and they're acting a certain type of way and it's like a toxic thing. Now, you can't necessarily pick your family, especially like if it's somebody that you're living with or like if it's a spouse or something like that. And like they're just, they're fucking up. Like this is just not how this is supposed to go. And you just choose not to say anything. Like how does that help?
Yeah.
How does it help? Like if you know it's wrong and you know it could be better, then how are you not the problem? How are you not part of the problem when you're not saying anything?
Right.
So I just kind of feel like it's one of those situations where like, yeah, you got to pick your battles. And it's like, it's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not a easy talk to have for some people, but like when it comes to speaking up is important. And you can't just be the person all the time to avoid conflict and confrontation, because life is confrontational.
Right.
Every war is ended with a conversation.
How would you give advice to someone that has trouble with that? Like, what if their mindset is like, they don't want conflict because what they say, what they have to say could hurt someone else or make them feel uncomfortable or make them feel a certain way?
See, I don't really understand that. When you ask me that, and I go back to something that's happening to me right now personally, I don't get it, because it's like, why would I accept being hurt inside because I'd rather see somebody else doing something that I don't like? Why would I continue letting this person hurt me if I know that it's not that it's not right? Why would I continue allowing that to happen in my life and not say anything about it?
Right.
And of course, that might be like a situational type thing where, sometimes it's easier to just walk away.
What about those people that have that?
I don't think I answered your question though.
No,
By the way, what was the question again?
So say someone has like a extreme case of that servant mentality. They're always wanting to serve. They always wanting to help out. But sometimes that leads to being too much of a crutch, or that it ends up you're overexerting yourself to please other people. That yeah.
Thank you. Got you. All right, let's go there. So I was answer. I did kind of answer that, but look at the brand, bro.
Back. Yeah.
Look at the brand. Like, take care of your star player. Like, if you getting burnt out trying to take care of somebody else, or you just being pulled and pushed and pulled in too many different directions, like, yo, you got to take care of you. Like, here's the thing, and I tell Alyssa this all the time. Like, I get that you want to help. I get that you want to serve, and some people are just natural born servers. Some people just want to help, take care of people, want to see people succeed, want to do everything for everybody. But here's the thing, like, you can't be a superhero for everybody. And at some point, the superhero even need rest. Right. What happened to the Superman when he hit that kryptonite? He got to sit down for a minute. Like, my man got to chill out. Like, he can't just keep fighting. Like, he needs some rest. Right. So it's like you're trying to be like Superwoman and Superman and trying to do everything for everybody, but you don't get that if you get burnt out, then you're no good to them anyway. You can't possibly get up and keep pushing yourself when you're burnt out. Like, you get so wrapped up in doing something for people, and then you mess around and you get stressed out, have a stroke or a heart attack or something like that, or you have panic attacks or something. And I promise you that the people that you're trying to help, they ain't having those same reactions. I promise you they not, because that's just not how people operate.
Right. And about people feelings, you worried about how, you know, they would feel or whatever. I mean, you just gotta take it. They just gonna have to take
They
it.
just gonna have they gonna have to deal with that. They're gonna have to deal with that.
I mean, if you're not good with like dealing with emotions, I mean,
because I
can't say just.
Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, I can't say you just walk away from it if you're trying to like help. You know, if you're trying to help them.
But you gotta help yourself.
Have to like,
No.
yeah.
You gotta help yourself
it.
first. I gotta be able to be whole in order to help somebody else. That's just how.
Right.
That's how it is. That's how it is. I can't be half a man helping somebody be whole. Like that's just not how it is. Like you can't pour a glass of water from an empty jug. You have to have something inside of you to do that. So you have to take that time to yourself to recharge and replenish yourself. And you can't give your everything. You can't give everything to everybody, because if you give everything to everybody, what you got left for yourself?
I guess what about greed, like the attitude of greed, like, how can I greed pocket place? I mean, I guess wanting too much.
If it ain't there, bro, don't force it.
No, cause like greed, like I said, greed, like wanting too much and not accepting what you have. Like almost like counting your blessings, like, oh, you know, God didn't do this for me, I still need this, but what about the stuff you do have? Like, what about the memories, the time, the relationships you do have in the now? Like,
you asking me?
The whole table.
Cause don't give me the mic. You know I'll go forever.
But like, how would one deal with that? Like how can one stop
we
out?
know how one deal with it. Let's talk about why it's a problem.
Oh, I mean, shoot, greed is a problem because like you're not giving the relationships you do have enough time to not even time. You're not giving them enough time to grow. You're not nourishing them. You're just kind of putting them to the side, and you're just worried about the I guess momentary gain. You're just constantly trying to get that next dollar to do whatever, and then once you not even collect enough because you're greedy, you'll never have enough. You just keep on collecting until you're at your deathbed, and you're just looking back and you're just like regretting all the stuff you missed out on, all the relationships you could have had, all the time you could have spent with loved ones, kids, the memories you could have had, places you could have gone, and it's just, you've just been greedy all your life. You just missed out. You just totally blocked out everything. You just had tunnel vision for that next dollar, and the numbers of dollars is infinite, so you can't collect every dollar.
So I'm gonna tell you what I know about greed, man.
Preach.
Relationships, this is like the biggest lesson that I've learned, man. Relationships are like bank accounts. And it's not like bank accounts as if like you pull out of a relationship, you withdraw from a relationship and you can't replenish into the relationship again. But from what I know about people who are greedy, they are just takers. They constantly look to take from the relationship, and they don't ever look to give into the relationship. And what they do is they overdraft the relationship. So once you get to that point where you're overdrafting the relationship, you constantly taking and taking and taking and taking, and you constantly think that somebody is supposed to keep pouring into you, but you're not necessarily pouring out into anybody around you. And people do it all the time. You hear people say, well, yeah, you know, they have that WIIFM. What's in it for me? What if I come into this situation here, what can you do for me? It's not like a mutual benefit kind of thing. And you see it happen with people from a poor or I want to choose my words a little wisely. I don't want to necessarily offend anybody on that note, but people who come from a certain background, a certain kind of demographic, it's like if they do something for you, you guys probably have seen it even in your families. I know I've seen it plenty of mine. They do something for you, and then they had a handout waiting for you to give back to them. Or even if they don't have a handout, they talk about you behind your back after they do it. So and those are the people who they it just got a little personal. I'm gonna be real with you. And those people, like, they won't succeed because they're always looking to get. Right. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. The difference between the wealthy and the poor is that the wealthy, they always looking to give. The wealthy ain't looking to take from everything. They're not looking to, like, the wealthy are saying, like, yo, I don't even go to this church, but I'm going to just donate to this church. Like, I'm going to do tithes and offerings at this church just because I see some people here that need help, and I know this money is going to go to a good cause. Right. Like, I hear people all the time, like, yo, I see people on the street, see people with the signs, I wish they go get a fucking job. Like, they say it all the time, like, yo, you don't know these people's situation. It was like, well, if I give them something, what if they made more money today than I did? Like, yo, they don't have it. Like, yo, they on the street. Like, you like, and I heard something today. If you got $5 in your pocket and your refrigerator full of food, and you see somebody on the side of the road who ain't got nothing, and you hold on to that $5 because it's your last $5. Well, your refrigerator is full of food, so give up the $5. Like, that person ain't got nothing to eat. So it just goes to show, like, there's a different type of people in the world who they are always looking to take from everybody around them, and they just collect. They just collect. They're not looking to necessarily do anything with what they're taking. That's just their attitude, their mentality. That's just what they do, whether it's a circumstantial situation or whether it's just how they were taught. But that also can block your blessings in the way that, you know, nothing necessarily comes back to the people who take. Now, I don't know how I don't necessarily know how it works, but for some reason there's like something that goes against all necessary science. Like, you can't necessarily learn this in a science class, but when you give, the universe just knows. I don't know if you want to say it's God or, you know, the universe, Yeshua, Buddha, whoever you pray to. When you give in general, the universe just knows. And if you give out of the kindness of your heart, the universe just automatically can tell that you did it. And it's not necessarily like you give something and you just have your hand out the next day like, all right, so God, where my stuff at? I gave this homeless person $5 yesterday, so what my $10 at today? Like, that's not necessarily how it works. But when you give
genuinely from the heart,
you generously give, the universe gives back.
Even past that, once you done took everything or withdrawn from that person and overdraft them, that messes them up, because now, just like a bank account, they have to put back into themselves to get back to at least a good standing of, you know, that bank account.
Let's go back to the passive person who is allowing you to continuously take from them, and they are too passive to say anything.
Oh yeah, even them. Like, once you overdraft them, they have to, if they're still in that situation, then it's just gonna be they're gonna get into debt, a big old debt. If we're talking about bank account. And then if they ever do, you know, finally stand up and get out of that relationship or that situation, now they have to spend all this time getting back to where they were, getting back to themselves.
Or where they should be.
Or where they should be. And that's time consuming. And like we've said many times before, all we have in life is time.
Right.
We're sellers of time. We're owners of time. And while they're doing that, they could be, you know, doing something else if they were in a better standing or better relationship.
Right.
Relationship that was built on, like, coming together and building together. That could have pushed them, you know, way beyond their imaginable dreams. A relationship where two people can come together and pour into each other is just like growing a garden. Like, you water it and you get fruits and their fruits of labor could be anything from like something they could give to others, something they could grow into a business that helps, numerous of things. But when you have those two negative attitudes come together, then you just you
So
fuck
there's
over
like
two lives.
something about like symbiosis that just seems to just keep things breeding itself. And when you have that person who is a taker, then you have that person who's a giver. They constantly feed each other. So therefore, both people are in a cycle where they don't even know that they are completely screwed up. It's like taking a narcissistic woman and putting her with a really like a really like, or vice versa, a narcissistic person, and giving them a mate that just wants to give that person everything that they ever possibly wanted, hoped, and dreamed. Because this person over here, the passive person, whether it's a situation of self-esteem issues, or it's like where it's like I need this person because they complete me, or whatever the case is, or this person over here, the one who's like really aggressive, they're narcissistic, they're takers, like they emotionally withdraw from relationships. They constantly feed this person their ammunition to continue to do what they do, and vice versa. It keeps the cycle going.
So
how do we get here?
so a situation like that.
Conversation's interesting.
A situation like that, when the passive person is always given and the narcissistic is always taken. The narcissistic, could they be considered like a manipulator? Some situations it's like, oh, they'll say stuff like, oh, I need this and that, or they kind of like, how can I put it?
You're asking how it happens, or like what's the formula of how it happens?
Not necessarily. I was trying to explain like a formula. Like the narcissistic will be like a manipulator.
Yeah.
And take and then give you like not even half, like just very little.
They give you enough to make you think that they're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the narcissistic person usually like they'll ask, and then the person will be like, they'll know the person's going to say yes, regardless of what they do. Or how much they try to rebel, they're going to say yes. It's like, only thing I have to do is bat my eyes a little bit. Only thing I had to do is make them think that, okay, well, if you don't give me this, then I'm going to fail. It's going to be your fault. And do you really want that on your conscience? That's how they operate. And I know that because I grew up with one. I used to get told all the time, like, well, it's just like, even, do I really want to go? I'm going there. So like, I like the most recent that I've heard it was when I wanted to move out of my mom's house. My mom said that if you move out, then I'm not going to succeed. Like, I don't know what she wanted, but it was one of those things. It's like, well, if you can't move out because what about me? Well, I mean, you mom. So like, what about you? Like, I have to live my own life. So what's like, the problem? Grown. What's the problem? Like, I'm 27 years old. I need to get the hell out your house. And there ain't enough space for me in here. Like, but man, oh man, I don't think I already went there. It's too late. But that was the last situation that I was in where a narcissistic person was going to tell me what to do. Because before then, I would give in to her, to every bit of whining she did, any kind of crying or whatever the case is, and like, blocking blessings. Here we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna have to cut that part. So before this last situation where that I had with her, I was always the one to like sit back and just like just take it. You talking about a narcissist going against a pacifist. I was passive at one point too, but I realized that wasn't my role. I was bullied into that role growing up. So once I realized who I was, it started to change up the relationship. So once I realized like I need to be my own person. I need to be who I am. I need to be who God made me to be. So once that happened, the narcissist didn't have any power. So when the words came out, well, you just don't give a fuck about me. You ain't this, you ain't that. I was just like, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess we'll see. And I had to take my own power back.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Being that that's my mom, I ain't had no problem like giving her what I had.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I had it, I give it to you. But because that happened, because she did what she did, I really don't feel the need to continue doing that.
Right.
And I really don't want to, because in the back of my mind I always think about how she made me feel when I was there. So could this be part of the episode about blocking your blessings?
Because in that situation, you can kind of say that you were kind of her crutch, and
and she was the excuse.
Yeah.
Why haven't you moved out your mom's house yet? Because she needs me. She didn't need me when I wasn't living there. So, and then I'm 27. So why haven't you planned for this?
Thanks.
You knew your child was gonna move out
Exactly.
when they get older. Like
If you have to do like some self-development, if you have to go into a book and write it down and get the words together, the ideas together to know exactly what you want in life. Because if you just try to go out here and live passively, you're just gonna, you're gonna burn out. And if you're out here just trying to be, greedy and just, have that tunnel vision for the next dollar or the next big thing, you're gonna end up missing out on plenty of blessings, because you're only worried about materialistic things, momentary gains to get to that next level, and you're gonna miss out on a lot. And just being angry in general, just stop and just be blessed.
smell the flowers.
Yes, be blessed and smell the flowers. You are too blessed to be stressed, to just be out here angry at everybody, every little thing. And that blocks a lot, because that makes you unapproachable. That makes you, arrogant. That gives you a bad name for yourself and a bad vibe to bring into any relationship, situation, or job. So just try to...
But yeah, don't be afraid to identify the problem within yourself and fixing it. Like, it's not wrong. It's part of growing.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it.
Change is a part of life. Don't be afraid of change. Embrace it. Y'all got this.
We can go ahead and kill that whole conversation by just saying, just straight up, just self-assess.
Ooh, yes.
Self-assess. And Marcus and Courtney has already said it. It's just, don't be afraid to change, and like look into yourself and really figure out what the fuck is going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you appear a certain way in the world. So never assume that when you get out of bed and your actions and the things that you say do not make people feel a certain way. Oprah said, no, not Oprah, Maya Angelou said that it's not about the things that you say, but it's about how you make people feel when you're around them. So you can say all the nice things in the world, but if you make people feel a certain type of way that doesn't want that they feel like they don't want to be in your presence, then there's nothing you can do about that. So figure out exactly how you make people feel and figure out if you're okay with that. Because if you can't be okay with it and you walking around complaining about how certain people don't like you, how people don't feel a certain thing, or they just they don't respect you, or somebody is out to get you, 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty sure that if a certain person feels a certain way about you and they're constantly saying it, 9 times out of 10 there's going to be somebody else that said the same exact thing. They might not say it in the same way, and they might not even they might not want to tell you because they might be passive. They might not want to tell you because they might just be that person that just don't like confrontation, and they know you just gonna blow up because you can't stand to hear somebody say that you're not fucking perfect. You don't like people who don't feed your ego. So the people around you, so the people that you kept around you purposely to feed your ego, they can't necessarily tell you what you're doing wrong. They can't tell you because you didn't choose the people to be around you that's going to keep your ass in check, that's going to tell you exactly what you're doing wrong, that's going to tell you exactly how you're making people feel. And don't tell the people who are trying to help you by telling you what you did wrong. You call them a hater. Self-assess, do the work, and get out of yourself and focus on the world around you. This is the only time I will ever tell you to get out of yourself and focus on the world around you, because you are making people feel a certain way. You move in a certain way. If I go to a movie, I expect the main character of that movie to be to make me feel a certain way when I watch that movie. But if the main character makes me feel in the completely opposite direction, then there's nothing I can do. That movie has already been made. You, on the other hand, you can change how you make people feel when you're around them. So go ahead, make the adjustments, do the necessary work, find out what it is, and make the change.
Amen. And on that note,
all right. We actually had to do a proper outro. So
okay, I was like, what are you doing? You started talking again. But
because I wasn't done, so that's
all right. Well, like my man Aaron said, self-assess.
Outro.
Okay, all right. Thank you guys for coming out and listening to us. This is the Dirty Trunk Podcast.
Be sure to check us out at AscensionDynasty.com. Check us out at all our social media links and leave a review, please. That damn it, leave a goddamn review, because we want to know how you guys feel about these conversations, and let us know if there's something that we could talk about that could intrigue you. We would love to hear you guys' opinions and contributions to the show. With that being said, all of our social media links will be in the description, and you can hit us up at any social media platform that's in the description below. And with that being said, we are going to go ahead and cut it out, so we will catch you guys on the next one. Deuces.